Hello gamers! So I thought I would talk you through a little sort of tutorial that I make my first years do when they're first learning how to use Blender. I teach my students both Maya and Blender, and then in the second year I teach them ZBrush, because in my opinion it's great to be sort of agnostic when it comes to technology and software and be able to use all of them. One of the things that I think is really fundamental, no matter what modeling software you're using, is understanding the fundamentals, because everything from there can just get more complex. But as long as you understand the fundamentals and you understand the workflow, it doesn't really matter how complex stuff gets, because you're still following basically the same steps to get the nice result at the end. So what you might be able to see here in this little clip is that we're modeling a chest. We're making sure that we're using primitives to start, and then we're editing those primitives to be similar to the shape that we need, making sure to keep good flow and that things are quads, making sure that we don't have any n-gons or faces inside of faces. Once we have this chest fully modeled, what we can then do is start to UV it and unwrap it. No matter which program you're using, understanding UVs and understanding how to unwrap your models is fundamental. Once we've UV unwrapped and optimized for the layout, we're then going to vertex paint this so that we can then take it into Substance Painter. Vertex painting in Blender is a little bit like apply color in Maya. This means that when we go into Substance Painter, we can use these colors as an ID map. This just makes the texturing process a little bit easier, especially for beginners and first years like these guys are. And you can see here I'm making a very simple map. I'm using literally two colors, and all I'm doing is separating out what is going to be metal and what is going to be wood, so that when I bring it into Substance I can start adding my layers and I can use the color picker to select. So technically my students have actually done this exact tutorial before, but they did it in Maya last semester while learning. They made their own chest, they took it into Substance, they made sure it was UV'd and unwrapped correctly, and then they painted it, brought it back in and rendered it. And we go over this workflow multiple times because, in my opinion, the more times you do something, the more muscle memory it builds and it becomes easier for you, which is why we follow this workflow multiple times, no matter the prop that we're working on. What this then means is that my students have a strong ability to be able to then make their own props, not following a tutorial or not being given a brief. They can then flex those creative muscles and make practically anything because they're following a good workflow that allows them to use their creative muscles rather than having to stress about what comes next. You can see here in this part of the workshop that I've actually exported my textures from Substance and I've gone back into Blender. I've used Node Wrangler plugin and I've added my textures back in, and then I've set up some lights to do a little render. Like I said, my students do this process over and over again, and what they end up with is multiple different props that are workshopped from modeling all the way through to UV unwrapping to texturing to rendering, and then they have these really nice pieces for their portfolio.